Thank you. I'm extremely honored that you would all come out tonight. And especially, I think that's the most serious talk I've heard Tony Rand ever give. So, wow, that is truly touching. It won't surprise you to find out that I travel around with something in my pocket that I call the joke list. And tonight I'm just going to do all of them. You know, Patty and I have felt so much support from all the folks who have written to us and all the things that people have said. And we feel very lucky that the people who wanted a scientist to be the chancellor got to be happy, and that the people who wanted someone who'd been in the university got to be happy, and that the Alumni Association wanted somebody who had been on their board and they're happy, and that people wanted somebody young and that they're happy, although sometimes, some days I think we need somebody even younger. But we really know that this is about the love that people have for our university, which is our greatest asset. And also, I think people are happy to finally get a chancellor who's eaten at the K&W. My communications people told me I couldn't do that joke at my acceptance speech, so I've been waiting for a long time to do that. And I was eating, the throwaway line was going to be that I can even name all 7 layers in 7-layer salad. I just got to tell you a few things about what it's like to become the chancellor. And you know, as Doug widely reported, and when this first started, I needed a few more light blue ties. I have enough now. When I walk outside Julian's, Alex just comes out and hands me 2 or 3 more. And I'm now going to have to go on to the bow ties. I never knew I was a bow tie guy, but that's where this is all headed. But I did get a gift certificate from Norman Stockton, which is one of the men's stores in Chapel Hill. And I went there and I was looking at the Carolina Blue sport coats. And the young man who was working there came over and he said, "No chancellor." And I said, "Well, but that looks pretty good." He said, "No chancellor." And I said, "But Dean Smith wears one." And he said, "Chancellor, you're not Dean Smith." Bill Jordan looks good in his. Yeah. We have been all across North Carolina. We've been to Asheville, Greensboro, Charlotte, Wilmington, Morehead City, Elizabeth City, Manio. Thankfully, we decided to go back to Chapel Hill on Saturday, which turned out to have been a good decision. I'm proud to be from the Thorp family, but I was thinking of just changing my last name to Football. Then I could be Chancellor Football. But when we planned the tour, we wanted to end up here in Fayetteville today because Patty and I are so proud to represent Cumberland County on behalf of the university. And we're so appreciative of all the support that everyone has shown us. One other thing about, Tony said something about getting a young chancellor. And, I have to say, during the search process, I thought I was being warmed up for the next go-round. So I didn't really take this whole thing very seriously. I tried to do a good job in my first interview, but I thought, they're just getting you ready for 2015 or something like that. And then I got a phone call from the search committee that said, "We want you to come back and we want to meet Patty." And then I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to be the chancellor." call three people boss. Erskine Bowles, Spring Lake's own Roger Perry, who's chair of the Board of Trustees, and Brenda Kirby, who's been the assistant to 6 chancellors, and now mine. And I explained this to someone, and they said, "Don't you call Patty boss?" And I said, "No, I call Patty chancellor." We have been all over North Carolina, as I said, and we have done 3 things. We visited a lot of the key high schools that provide our students, and it is so inspiring to go to a high school classroom and to see kids who are excited about learning and excited about higher education and excited about Carolina. We went to Chapel Hill High, where we attended an AP class that you take after you've taken every AP class and it's the only one left, and talked to 8 geniuses. And I resisted it, but I was going to just go. You may notice out in the parking lot, we drive around in this big Carolina blue minivan that says UNC1 on the back of it. And I was just going to pull that up in the Chapel Hill parking lot and load all 8 of them and take them over to Mangum Dorm and move them in. But I was happy because when I asked who wants a Carolina t-shirt, they all did, and they all said they were going to. We went to Asheville High School, where 18 of the 25 top graduates last year all came to UNC. We went to West Charlotte, which is a very challenging school, and observed something I'm very proud of. There are a lot of folks out there who don't think that they're going to be able to go to college, that it's not right for them personally, that they can't get in, or that they can't afford it. And my predecessor, James Meeser, did a very bold and courageous thing, which has been copied by quite a number of other universities, which is to create the Carolina Covenant that allows students of certain incomes to be guaranteed that they won't have any debt when they leave UNC. And we now have a cohort of students who have been in the Carolina Covenant who go back to their high schools to coach the young people there, that they can go to high school and that they can afford it. We hope that a lot of the folks that are impacted by this will come to Carolina, but if they go to college at all, then we feel like we've done our job. And so I took one of these young folks with me to West Charlotte, and we had an extraordinary day there. I also had the opportunity on this trip to visit with a lot of the chancellors of the UNC system. President Bowles is doing a very good job of promoting teamwork within among the chancellors, and I'm very proud to serve with the other 16 chancellors, and I had a great visit today with James Anderson, and I really think that Fayetteville State has got the right person, and I'm going to do everything I can to help him, and I hope that you will support him as well. It's important to us for the whole UNC system to succeed, and it's particularly important to me for Fayetteville State University to succeed here in my hometown. And the thing that I tell people when I go around to these schools, other than that they should go to college, and that if they can, and we hope they'll come to Carolina. But that is that 219 years ago, our founders had an idea which they really shouldn't have had, because it's too hard. It's too hard to try to do 2 things at once when both are difficult by themselves. And those 2 things are to aspire to global eminence in your academic programs, and to also commit yourself unwaveringly to a single state. There are charities and other organizations that are devoted to serving North Carolina, and that's a challenging task. And there are universities all over America who are aspiring to be the best academic university in the world or in the country. We are doing both of those 2 things at the same time. And I think if William R. Davie had known how hard that was, he wouldn't have tried it. But we've been fortunate because for 219 years we've had people who refused to believe that it was too difficult to do both knowledge and service. And those of us who work at the University of North Carolina believe that this is a higher calling, that the promise of higher education and the impact that it can have on a state when we are committed to it is an objective that everyone can get excited about and that we're all excited about. And when I go to these high schools and see these kids raise their hand when I ask them if they're going to apply to Carolina, I realize that we're all doing the right thing. Now on Sunday, if I don't screw up between now and then, it's going to be a really exciting day for the Thorp family because I'm going to be installed as the 10th Chancellor. And I'm going to put my hand on the Thorp family Bible that goes all the way back to my great-grandfather who read for the law under Judge Battle in the 1800s. And I'm going to lay out my vision for the university. Now, since I've been meeting my fellow chancellors, I found out they get installed in the spring. They have 9 months to figure out what they're going to propose as their vision for the university. But this is what I get for following a 219-year-old schedule, because I need to do it now. And as my mom will tell you, if she was up here, she'd say, well, fortunately, he's been thinking about this his whole life. My press people wrote here, I've been doing a lot of thinking about this over the past few months, but they just don't know me quite as well as I. So when I lay out what it is that I think we need to do, what I want to talk about is that Carolina has always been about our people. If you ask somebody about Carolina, they're going to say Dean Smith or Paul Green or Frank Graham or Julius Chambers. They're not going to talk about the details of how we got those people where they are. And I think those of us who've been around here a long time understand that that's the way it is. And a lot of other university presidents spend a lot of time talking about their new ideas, about this new building they're going to build or this new program they're going to start. Well, the world is changing too fast for us to decide when we don't have the people in place that we want to get into this area or that area. So, it makes sense to get into alternative energy right now. And we may be able to hire a few young new people to get into alternative energy, but basically, if we're going to succeed in alternative energy, we're going to do it with the faculty and the staff and the programs that we have in place now. Because by the time we build up some program in that, the next thing will be along. And this energy thing has come around more than once, because I went to graduate school to do solar energy 25 years ago. And that's a long-winded way of saying that it's better to talk about people than it is to talk about ideas, because you can't time the market for ideas, but you can time the market if you have the best people. And so all of my priorities relate to how to get the best people in Chapel Hill and how to make sure they do their job and they have the resources they need. And the first thing is to attract and inspire the students that we want to have. And it's really hard for us who have loved the university and been around North Carolina a long time to understand what I'm about to tell you, but we have got to get cracking when it comes to making sure that the best undergraduates still come to UNC. The population of our state is growing. The populations of Massachusetts and Connecticut and New Jersey are getting smaller. And there are some good universities up there in those states. And they have a lot of money in their endowment. So if you're looking for great students and you're in a state whose population is declining, North Carolina is a very good place to come shopping for students who want to get attractive financial packages to go to well-known private universities. And so we look now at people deciding between Carolina and going to Yale for free, even though their parents might make what we would consider to be a substantial living and they wouldn't qualify for need-based aid at Carolina. So I've got to do a lot more to get the best North Carolina undergraduates to come to UNC. And in order for me to do that, I've got to have more money for merit scholarships. We are not a university that's done a lot with regard to merit scholarships. Dr. Jordan has helped us a little bit, and I know some of you have helped us. But we have to make raising money for merit scholarships a much higher priority. And that's my job to do that. I also have to learn to be a little bit more like Coach Williams and Coach Davis and Coach Fox and Coach Hatchell when it comes to getting the best people to decide to come to UNC. So if there's no media around and I'm talking to a really good student, I'll give them my cell phone number and tell them to call me if they want to come to UNC. So if you know somebody who needs to talk to me, let me know. Second thing, and when we talk about students, we have to talk about graduate students and undergraduates. And there was a time when we really had to sell the idea of graduate students, but thanks to the leadership of our trustees and some folks in the legislature led by Tony who really figured this out, people seem to get why we need graduate students now. So thankfully, I'm not the one that has to be the first person to go out and make that pitch. The second thing is, of course, if we're going to inspire our students, we've got to have a great faculty. And, we might get a break this year with the what's likely to be the performance of the endowments of some of our private competitors. But when it comes back, they're going to do to us what they did this year, which is to dangle some attractive packages in front of our faculty. And, we do very well at keeping people in Chapel Hill. Last year when I was dean, I was able to get the number of faculty who left the College of Arts and Sciences from 30 down to 7. I'm a charming guy, but I spent some money to do that too. I raised a lot of the money, but, so we did manage to do well, and we're going to have challenging times ahead. And one silver lining of that is that we might not have a lot of faculty changing universities the next 2 or 3 years while the United States figures out how to get to the next place we need to go. So recruiting and supporting the best faculty is our second priority. And the final thing is to serve the state of North Carolina and our region. We believe that higher education, as I said, has the power to elevate the people who participate in it. We take that seriously, and we also take, what I said earlier about our dual mission. And I know sometimes you see these bumper stickers that say, think global, act local. We invented that 219 years ago. And except that, we've lost a little bit with the true local thing, because our region of Chapel Hill and Carrboro and Durham is having some problems that we haven't attended to as well as we can. We've got some empty storefronts on Franklin Street. We've got problems with youth violence in our community. We've got problems with campus security. We have a lot of nervous neighbors worried about what's the next thing we're going to build at the next thing the university is going to build. And we need to do more to enhance our region. You may have read that we purchased, or we've agreed to purchase, Granville Towers and University Square. And we're very excited about that. We figure with the university owning it, we don't have to worry about the whims of the landowners when it comes to who the tenants will be. So we're very excited about restoring Franklin Street through the University Square property. And the other thing I think is that my predecessor, Chancellor Measer, and the wonderful trustees that he had recognized a lot of the tension that we had with the town, and were able to evolve the plan for our North Campus by listening to the town and what their concerns were. And I think we know what those are, and we're down to kind of deciding how we're going to address them together. And, when we talk about serving North Carolina, I just feel like we can't do that very credibly if we're not serving well in our own backyard. So I make a very strong commitment to Chapel Hill and Carrboro and Durham. But But when it comes to serving the state, well, I know you hear a lot about the things that we do with our AHEC program and with our professional schools that are out in many of the communities. This is a good point for me to remind everyone something I said earlier, that the most important thing that the University of North Carolina does for North Carolina is graduate our class every year. There's more than 100,000 Carolina alumni in communities like Fayetteville who are transforming their communities, who are transforming the world, and who are realizing the power and the promise of higher education that brings us to work every day. And I'm proud to be the person that gets to help us do that. So I hope you'll join us on Sunday, but if you do, you'll just have to come for the pageantry and the soaring rhetoric, because I gave you most of the substance just here. You know, and I am very proud to be from Fayetteville, and Doug tried to list all the people holding high office in Fayetteville. Senator Rand, as I said, Roger Perry, who's from Spring Lake. He asked me if we counted Spring Lake, and I said yes, we did. Doug Dibbert, and we can't forget a very high position in Chapel Hill, the executive chef at the Carolina Inn, James Reale, which we're very happy to have with us. And of course the town manager, Roger Stansel, is with us, and we sure enjoy working with him. Fayetteville's loss was Chapel Hill's gain in that particular case. Wait, where's the joke list? Let me tell you two more things about what it's like to be a chancellor, and then I'll wind it up. Patty and I went around to all the dorm rooms of the students when they were moving in. And we went in and we shook hands with people and we said, "Hi, I'm the chancellor," and they seemed surprised to see us. But, you know, when people say, "Wow, what are you doing here?" I say, "I work here." But we went into one room and I met the mother and I said, "Hi, I'm Holden Thorp and I'm the chancellor." And she said, "That's great. Can you show us how to hook up the internet?" And actually, I was able to do it. I guess if you applauded for that one, you'll have to hear the rest of the joke some other time. Thanks so much for being here. It's an honor for us to be here, and it's an honor to wind up our big tour in Fayetteville. We've been so looking forward to this. And the people of Chapel Hill who don't know the Thorp family as well as you do are starting to figure us out. And I've played a lot of different instruments in front of a lot of different people, surprised a lot of people who just don't really understand how this has all come together in this way. But I'm proud to be here. I was born right there where my father-in-law is sitting. Yeah. And it's great to be back. So I'll turn it back over to Doug with that. Thank you.